Hi, everybody. Jeanine with How's Your Mindset with my co-host.
Kristen.
How are you guys doing today? Hopefully you're doing wonderful. And how are you?
Good. I'm hoping everybody's watching this is doing well and having a great day
Yeah.
or had a great day.
I forgot to tell you, I got the nicest comment from one of our subscribers. They didn't make a comment on our post, but some of them send me messages, talking about the podcast of people that, I'm connected with. And our one subscriber had COVID, and they were watching it during the time they were sick. So they said that they were looking forward to each week, to actually be able to take their mind a little bit off when they were sick. So it's definitely really nice to get those messages from you guys, and please continue to send them, because I've got so many good responses from people that they're really enjoying it. So we really appreciate you guys. And we do appreciate our sponsor, Family Naturals, of course. Is there anything that we want to talk about this week? We've been talking a lot about individual products for Family Naturals. Do you want to chat about anything this week, or are we just leaving the link?
We'll just leave the link, but just wanting to chat about our coaching services.
Oh, cool.
And I know Jeanine has them too, which is great. And what we do, it's more of NLP training that we do.
Yeah.
So it really digs into your mind and helps you to release whatever it is that's blocking you from different things. So what we do on Family Naturals end is more of the abundance on through business or through personal, as well as health.
Yes.
And Jeanine, if you want to explain what you do as well.
Yeah, I definitely am not a coach, for sure. I definitely consider myself more of a guide. So I help you get ready for whatever you need in terms of your professional. So you definitely should have a coach, which is what's great about Family Naturals, because they can link you with someone that can help you with that particular need. And sometimes you're not at the point where you need a coach yet. You need more unconditional work, unconscious work, and more all sorts of exercises that you need to do for yourself and for your mental health. So what I do is I help with communication for couples so that they can feel more connected. Now, if you're on the verge of divorce, it's a little too late for me. But if you're happily married and you're looking just for that connection again, or if you're having kids and you're kind of just distracted and you're kind of looking to get on the same page, that's kind of what I do. Also, if you're looking for a good meditation, if you're looking for more of a mental minimalism mindset, which I've created a concept, we'll leave the event that's coming up in February, where you just want to kind of simplify your life so that things run a little bit more smoothly. That's kind of where I'm in. And also, if you want to, get healthier, if you want to be in a healthier mindset where you want to, I don't like to say you lose weight, but if you want to work on that, then I can help you with that as well. So what are we talking about today? So we've got our parenting segment, which happens once a month. I'm super excited about. And what is our topic for today?
Oh, expectations.
We need a minute.
Yeah, let's get them. First of all, speaking of expectations.
We're speaking about parenting and expectations. Okay.
Yeah, so let's just give me a few minutes.
Sure, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I started talking and I thought, oh my goodness, we got to start recording again, because Kaylee, she needs attention. She's a little baby, and I don't know what you're doing, looking at the light or something, but you're driving me crazy. This is Apto, by the way, everyone. Expectations for dog thug life right here. But anyway, I'll start just in case we need another break with Kaylee. But we're talking about expectations in terms of parenting, and also other expectations. I mean, this is a parenting segment, but we have lots of expectations that we do for all sorts of people. And we may actually end up doing another video on that, which will, there's her husband, Grant, in the background. We just saw him. But anyway, what we're talking about today is expectations for children. So what's very interesting is that I think of myself as a pretty, great parent. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I feel like I've raised a pretty good human being. And my son has turned out really wonderful. I mean, he's had his challenges just like every other children. but I didn't consider myself someone that had something that had expectations for someone that, that I was pushing any of my rules or guides or anything. I felt like I nurtured him to be who he needed to be, and I nurtured all of his gifts. However, until I did some unconscious work, with a extremely talented mentor, Dan, I didn't realize how much I was pushing things on him. So one of the things that I was doing is that he's so messy. He's just a messy person. And my expectation of messy, or my idea of messy, is very different than maybe yours, Kristen, or what I found out is him. So when I was asking him to clean something and then I would look at it and he thought it was clean, I still thought it was very messy and dirty, or I didn't think it was the way it should be. So what I was doing is I was imposing all of these rules and all of these expectations onto him. And it wasn't the way he was seeing it, and it was causing a little bit of a conflict. Now, we don't have many conflicts, but this is something that really was wearing on me because I was tired of telling him all the time, which I think most parents have this problem. And I don't know whether it's more of a boy thing, although I see more of it like that because I was married and that was kind of the same way. It was like I was always picking up stuff. But for me, I was getting very frustrated. I was just tired of asking him to do it. So I asked Dan to talk to him and do some work with him, with the messiness. And what I found out is that the problem mostly was stemming from me. Now, is he still messy? Yes, he's very messy. I mean, he's working on it, but he's still a messy kid. The interesting part about it was that because I was imposing what I thought was messy onto him, he was thinking he was doing a good job, and I was telling him he wasn't, and he didn't know what to do. So I had to change my expectations of what messy was in order to accommodate him. So that doesn't mean that I have to change my expectations of messy for myself. I have to just change it and adapt for his expectations of messy, and not project it onto him, ask him what he thinks it is. And then that way he can not be set up to fail. And with expectations and parenting, we're going to be doing that all the time because they have their own views. They have their own ways of doing things. And as parents, we have to be very careful not to project what we feel is right when it may not be what's right for them. So that's kind of my story with my son.
Yeah, that's great. And your son is 20.
Yeah, he'll be
So
21 in July. So
yeah,
he's
so
grown now.
you have all this experience to look back on and say, how did I do? How, just little
Mm-hmm.
reflections.
And I've asked him
And then,
too. That's an
mhm,
important thing. Like when you have an older child, it's really important to ask them, how did I do? What were some of the things that you feel like, that weren't what you needed? Like, how could I have helped you more? So definitely, that's a good conversation to have with your kids, especially if they're getting older and they're teenagers and they are making their own decisions because they're going to be going out on their own. So it's really important for them to know what their own expectations for themselves are.
yeah, that's important. And, for me, I'm just starting out. Got a, 2.5-year-old and a three
Yeah,
month old. And it's really hard to not put those expectations on even that young. And
for sure.
I have to remind myself constantly, just a 3 month old, or she's just a 2.5-year-old, and they're still learning. It's not, at least with Peyton, he is 20 and he knows now.
Yeah.
He should know.
Yeah.
You've done all the work that you had to do as a mom,
Yes.
and now it's up to him.
Well, that's
But
another thing. Once you've done the work, you have to allow them and step back. That's another expectation that parents have, that you're still in control. Even if they live in your own house, when they are 18, which is legally an adult, and they can leave or take care of themselves legally, you have to step back and say, okay, these are the expectations that I expect from you in the house. You need to go to school. You need to have a job. You need to do chores, whatever they are. And if they meet those expectations, even though it's not the way you want it to be, you have to be able to step back and say, you're an adult. You have to make your own rules. I've done what I can do to guide you and nurture you. And I think a lot of parents have that issue. And I've seen that they try to treat their adult children like their adult, yeah, their adult children like they're little, and not give them the room that they need to grow. And then it's going to cause anxiety issues, depression issues. I've seen multiple different things. And then your child could leave because they don't want to deal with it anymore, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's very fair too. You don't want that resentment. And we see expectations with other relationships that we have,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work. It never works. You can only
Yes.
control yourself. You can't control others. And being able to contain that it's just very important. And
Well, how about Annabelle? What are the expectations with her that you feel like you set and she's like, no? I mean, because she's old enough to kind of understand now what's going on.
she does, yeah. And when she came out of the womb, she was very stubborn
Hmm.
and strong-willed, and that's just who she is. So having those expectations of her changing, it's not going to happen. And
Yeah.
I don't want her to change. There's moments, of course, um, when I want her to do certain things and just trying to mold her and get her to be a decent human being.
Yeah.
You can't, right now we're in the middle of learning you can't control others, you can only control yourself.
Yeah.
She's constantly trying to control everybody around her, trying to control all the things around her, which
Well, and
is,
she's learning, right? She's
it's,
learning what
yeah,
she needs. She's learning from how you respond. She's learning the rules of the house, which she's gotten very quickly. You know, she's got a new sibling that she's trying to adapt to. It looks like we need one more minute, guys. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now, what were we doing? I forget the thought where we were.
well, the toddler situation.
Oh,
Um,
Annabelle. Yes, we were talking about Annabelle.
it's about controlling and learning that she can control only herself and what she does. She
Yes.
can't control other people, and she's being bossy. um, Her and I get into these yelling matches sometimes.
Which is incredible because how old is she again? Like people don't know how old she is.
Yeah, she's 2.5,
It's crazy.
and she acts like a teenager. It's crazy. I had no idea that that's what
And the
teenagers do.
facial expressions on this child, like she will tell you everything about the way she feels by her facial expressions, which was so me when I was a kid. Like I could not hide that stuff. I've not seen a baby with those kind of, she's a young little girl now. She's a big girl. I haven't seen someone of her age with those kind of facial expressions before. If looks could kill.
Yeah,
And now I know why people used to say that to me when I was younger. Because
yeah.
honestly, sometimes when she looks at you like that, she's like that. She's like, why
She,
are you talking to me?
yeah, there's moments where I'm thinking, is she plotting my death? Because
Yeah.
all I wanted her to do was eat for dinner. That's all I wanted.
And she's looking at you like, how dare you? Like,
Yeah,
don't force me to do something I don't want to do.
yeah. And you learn how to just let things go. Just let it go.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. I mean, I learned.
It gets easier when they get older. I think at
Yeah,
this stage it feels overwhelming, but you learn to let things more and more go as they get older. And then you put the responsibility on them and not on you. Because at some point you got to say, you know what, if you don't want this for yourself, then there's nothing I could do about it. You have to want it for you. And that's the conversation I had with Peyton many times with expectations, with homework. It was like a nightmare with him with homework. He was a perfectionist, so he wouldn't hand in the homework unless it was perfect. So he was getting like zeros. And his teachers are like, at least hand it in partially done and you'll get 50%. 50% is better than zero. You know what I mean? Than nothing. And he just was like, he got that from his dad, where he wanted the work, he didn't want people to be let down, if he didn't do a good job. And it's one of those things that I said, you know what, Peyton, if you want to not go to the next grade, or you don't want to, if you want to fail and be let back, then maybe that's what you need. Thank goodness that didn't happen. But he was also very young compared to the other people. He graduated at 17. So you know what I mean? So he was
Mhm.
very young compared to everybody else. So
Yeah, and it's just, I think, with expectations of anything, just learning to let it go.
yeah,
I
for sure.
just,
Because your rules are not their rules. Although they have to
right.
have basic rules, but
Yeah.
those
And
basic rules have different shades.
right. And there's, I love the saying that, when they're under 18, it's not a democracy.
Yeah,
You have to shape them,
yeah,
and there's certain things of teaching them how to be independent while learning how to be an actual person out in the real world. We
yeah.
can't go around trying to control everybody. I personally don't allow that.
Well, I think it's
So
funny how I know with me living in Northern California, where we met, when I was there, I thought it was a very interesting how parents would put their over schedule and overwork their kids and all of these things, instead of my approach was nurture them in what's their strength. So have them try this one time, and then another time they try this. But instead, the reason why there was a lot of suicides in the high school, where the town that we were in Pleasanton, was because, and this is all factual, you can look it up. There's a train that runs right through the high school, and they throw themselves in front of it. I mean, it happens like at least once a year, more than that. I think they ended up closing that railroad track down, which was smart. I think they rerouted it or redid it because of the problem that they were having there. But you have to look it up. But I heard something about it when I moved.
sure.
Um, but it's smart, right? But anyway, because the pressure academically and sports in some of these areas, those expectations are so high that the children break. And now there's more than 4.0s. I mean, that's crazy. There's more than being perfect. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, and then letting them be kids.
Yeah,
Let them make their mistakes. Let them be kids. Let them have some fun and enjoy life. They don't need to, be perfect all the time.
for sure. For sure. Well, I think that was a great discussion today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're gonna say goodbye and wish you a good week. And we hope you have many blessings. And remember to spread a little love, a little light, and a little kindness this week. And we love you all. And have a great day.
Have a good